wonderful and beautiful morning. Good morning. It is THG News Today with Mervyn Henley. It's a pleasure to be in your company this morning. THG News Today. We are reporting for Thursday, 18th January 2024. Hey, if you're celebrating a birthday, I am wishing you a happy birthday on behalf of all of us here at THG News Today. The news, of course, is brought to you with the kind of compliments of Carl & Sons on St. Maarten. We'll take a break. But before we do that, I must remind you, if you have not already, to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you do not miss any news or information on THG News Today on THG Network. Or you can add us to your WhatsApp to make sure that you are kept abreast of what's happening around the Caribbean. That number is 1-869-667-7443. That's 1-869-667-7443, and let us add you to the broadcast. Shoot us a message, and we will be more than happy to add you to the broadcast. Let's hear from Carl & Sons, and we will be right back with THG News Today. Carl & Sons have been serving the people of St. Maarten for over 40 years, and the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Carl & Sons for simply the best. There are two locations, Coal Bay and on the Punfill. In Coal Bay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Punfill, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Carl & Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Coal Bay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Carl & Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you. In a violent incident in Puerto Rico, 5 people lost their lives in a drive-by shooting, prompting a significant response from local authorities. The shooting, which occurred in the eastern coastal town of Ceiba, has raised concerns over public safety and law enforcement challenges in the U.S. territory. According to police reports, 3 of the victims were discovered deceased inside a pickup truck, while a 4th was found lying on the pavement nearby. A 5th victim succumbed to his injuries at a hospital. The police found weapons inside the vehicle, which was riddled with bullet holes. The incident led to the closure of a section of a highway as authorities conducted their investigation. This shooting adds to the rising tally of violence on the island, with at least 28 people reportedly killed this year in Puerto Rico. This figure is nearly on par with the 30 homicides recorded in the same period last year, reflecting an ongoing concern about violent crime in the region. Yeah, that's terrible. And of course, I do not have it as a news item this morning, but I did report to you in our WhatsApp broadcast from THG News Today about what's happening there in the Bahamas. Just yesterday in New Providence Island in the Bahamas, you had 2 murders yesterday, back to back, bringing that total in Bahamas for January 2024 to 14 murders thus far in the Bahamas. I don't know what's happening. People are just getting trigger happy, and I don't know what it is. But let us continue with the news. Another unfortunate, shocking, sad story, this time out of Guyana. Police in Guyana are looking for a 38-year-old man who drove a car into his mother, killing her on the spot at Lot 8, Sawikane Grove, East Coast, Demerara on Tuesday. Ina Sisharan, age 63, has died. Police headquarters indicated that the car HD 1726, that's the number plate of the vehicle, was parked on the bridge. The gate was locked and Ina was standing in the yard behind it. Her husband informed the police that his son started the vehicle and drove forward, crashing through the fence and colliding with Ina, who then fell on the ground. The left side of the car ran over her, causing her to sustain injuries throughout her body. The truck came to a stop in the yard after colliding with a concrete wall. The woman was picked up by her husband and sent to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Police are searching for the driver who fled the scene, not the driver, her son. Well, it's a driver, but the son. Police are searching for her son who fled the scene. So far, it is unclear whether the driver's actions were premeditated. Investigations continue, the police stated. So unfortunate. Again, they do not know what caused this to happen. Could it be that he thought he was in reverse and he was in drive, or in drive and he thought he was in reverse? You never know. Or was it ill intent? Did he want to kill his mother? But did he know that his mother was behind the fence? We don't know. I guess I'll follow this story because I would like to know what the outcome of this story on whether or not the son knew exactly what he was doing, or it was an accident and he got so terrified and frightened and scared that he just ran away. It could be that too. We don't know, but we'll find out. Now, news from St. Maarten. There were a number of errors that have been uncovered in the total recount of the votes from last week's parliamentary elections, which the Central Voting Bureau began on Tuesday morning after hearing the objections and concerns from political parties. During the recount, several candidates lost votes when valid ballots were deemed invalid, and several candidates received additional votes when invalid ballots were found to be valid. At some polling stations, discrepancies in the number of votes were ironed out. During the recount, it also became clear that not all polling stations were using the same methods. For example, the ballots at one polling station were written on by polling station staffers. The polling station staffers wrote numbers on the first ballot in a batch to indicate how many votes a particular candidate received. In other cases, while some polling stations labeled the envelopes containing the ballots, some polling stations did not label the envelopes to identify their content more easily. It was also clear that many voters were either unaware of how to properly cast their ballot or deliberately wrote on the ballot in a manner to make it to be deemed invalid. One voter signed their name on the ballot under a party's list. I guess that voter was a candidate. Some voters marked multiple candidates while voting. Some marked other parts of the ballot paper after circling the candidate of their choice, wrote outside the circle, amongst other things. Additionally, some voters sent messages on their ballot papers. One ballot had the word Crooks. Yes, somebody went inside the voting. Somebody went inside the voting booth and wrote I'm sorry. And wrote Crooks on the ballot paper. Another had the words, "Me a bad man." This is not even a made-up story. This actually happened in the St. Maarten election last week. Up to press time, the votes were still being counted. And up to press time, up to last night, the staff at the Voting Bureau, and they're doing this with utmost transparency. They're doing it live, so you can log on to the government of St. Maarten. It starts probably at 9 o'clock this morning again. The Facebook page of the government of St. Maarten, and you'll see them there bringing to you live the counting of the ballots from last week's election. And of course, the official results will be certified and announced at the end of the recount. And finally, in our news this morning, a former kitchen supervisor at the Sandals Grande Antigua resort has won his case for unfair dismissal after the resort fired him in 2015, alleging that he had stolen cases of shrimp and salmon. The industrial court recently handed down its decision, ordering the hotel to pay Boycott Baltimore $20,121 EC dollars and 51 cents by February 15th. The court judgment said the matter unfolded in July 2015, when Baltimore was temporarily relocated to the hotel's butcher shop, where meats and other products were prepared for meals at restaurants on the site. Such products were routinely taken from the hotel's storeroom upon the request of the hotel's executive chef. Baltimore was moved temporarily to assist with the butcher shop as another employee was on vacation. It was noted that outside of the general knowledge of how the various departments interacted with each other, Baltimore received no special training or explanation on how to carry out his new role. On July 20th, selected meats were ordered for the butcher shop from the storeroom, where a case of shrimp and a case of salmon were taken out, although these were not listed as part of the order. We're giving you the full story of how this went down. The following day, an employee from the storeroom, Ethical Finch, collected the extra items from the shop and took them to another location. However, members of the hotel's security staff later found the shrimp and salmon in a garbage compactor, and the matter was reported to the general manager. A report was submitted by the security manager with testimony from Finch as to why he removed the items from the butcher shop and placed them at the back of the housing area. Following this report, the resort's manager and human resources manager met with Baltimore, who was subsequently suspended with pay for a few days while an in-house investigation was carried out. Baltimore was reportedly told that upon his return to work, another meeting would be held. However, when he returned to work 5 days after the apparent conclusion of the investigation, he was dismissed. In the judgment, the court felt that the hotel acted unreasonably by failing to fully involve Baltimore in the investigation, including failing to inform him of the allegations against him, failing to warn him that his employment was in jeopardy, and to provide him with an opportunity to defend himself. The court also felt that the security manager's report had overly relied on the words of Finch, who was deemed an unreliable source. Based on the contents of the dismissal letter, it is clear to us that the employer relied heavily, if not exclusively, on the security manager's report and rushed to judgment without any sufficient regard for procedural fairness, the judgment states. So this was from 2015, over a case of salmon and shrimp, and now Sandals now would have to pay their former employee just over $20,000. To be exact, $20,121.51. And that's going to be a good payout for the butcher man, or, well, the employee. Yeah? And that is the way we end our news this morning, THG News Today. I'm so happy to have you here with me this morning to share the news and information with you. We have news and commentary. Sometimes you may like the commentary. Sometimes you may think that is a bit over the top, but this is not traditional news. We're giving it to you with our own take on our own opinions and stuff like that to make it more relatable and more engaging, because I hear from you guys. I hear from you through WhatsApp and through messages, so I appreciate that. So please continue to listen and to watch THG News Today, Monday to Friday. However, we will not be here tomorrow morning. Due to production reasons, we'll not be here tomorrow, but we will be back with you on Monday morning, God's willing, at 6 o'clock for another edition of THG News Today. The weekend is coming up. I'm asking you to stay safe, everyone. Cherish and love your loved ones. Don't take them for granted. The people around you who you love and care for, don't take them for granted. All right? That's it. God bless. I'm out of here. Have a good day.